Good morning, everyone. Looks like we have the day off. That market profile right there is telling us it's a holiday. Yeah, this is what happens. I just checked my emails. Sorry. Welcome, everyone. It is, wow, it is the 9th of April already, and Thursday. And this is the Trading Syndicate. And you're with JJ here, and we are on top of this market. I checked my email. We have no margin changes. So what does that mean? Well, it means usually because if there's increased margin, it's slower, right? Now, I'm going to say this for people who ask me 3 hours from now, JJ, why is it so slow? Please listen. It's slow because do you see that big green sort of circle? Right? The market has undergone change. And when the market undergoes change, what happens is traders, smart money, they move in and they go, okay, well, is this change lasting? Or is this all going to come right back down to 66.76 or 66 or 6,700, you know? So, yeah, we got a massive gap. Now, the whole all gaps fill crowd is short. They don't know what to do. They're stuck. People who are size longs, they don't want to initiate here. Initiating a size long here for a swing trade is basically like, eh, it's like building a house in quicksand. Now, what we are looking for, before I get to overnight inventory and everything, is us, large traders are looking for. Remember yesterday I said 67.88 and three quarters? Well, first that level has to break. Then yesterday's lows has to break. But we need to know if this gap is going to hold or if it's going to fill partially or if it's going to fill all the way. With world events the way they are and the current state of, um, how do I say this in a non-political, correct, proper way, not to ignite a debate, but the gentleman who's running things right now, depending on his mood and whatever the heck else he's using to figure out how to run the world, we really don't know what the hell's going to happen. So, the best thing for us is to trade back and forth, right? And sometimes that might even suck. And I'm going to show you, right? We have a very, very small profile here. We have a small range, and not because of high margin requirements, because nobody knows what the hell's going on. So, smart money players, they don't come rushing into this, right? They don't come rushing into markets trying to put positions together. I want to see if this gap holds. I want to see if yesterday's low holds. I'm going to be sitting and watching. And while I'm watching, I'll take a few trades. But as you can see, big move up on the old candles. it took us right above that 200-day moving average that everybody watches. Now, I'm not a moving average guy, but I have the popular ones on my screen, or at least one of them, right? This is like, this 200-day moving average, this is like the Roxbury. It's the most popular nightclub. So everyone's executing there. I'd like to see that 67.89 area get tested. And oh my goodness, the moving average and my level are pretty damn close. So let's see if that gets tested today, okay? Interesting thing about that level, there it is here. For larger traders, doing the look below and fail, I'll talk about this. If I have the strength, I'm going to do another class at 11. Yeah, this cold, I can't get rid of this cold. It's just haunting me. Um, Luckily, the rapid heartbeat has stopped. Thank goodness for that. That was a pain in the butt. But when the market looks below and fails that 67.88, that is a nice long trade for size traders. And the thing is, you don't have to wait. You don't have to jump in right away. When this period opened and D period came down and the low of D period did not take out 67.88, that was an automatic long. That was long, stop, right? So you're long 90, 91, 92, and that's where you can put on some size. Put some size on. Your risk is right there, and you blast it and blast it into that move up, and that would have been a nice trade. Tonight's profile, you could tell nobody wants to work, right? Nobody wants to work tonight. It's nobody wants to play. Nobody wants to work. The customers really don't know what the hell to do. You got a ton of trap shorts all over the place from yesterday that did not get resolved. Here they are. Here's those single prints from the overnight session. I left them on here, right? And then that gap goes all the way down, right, to 66.73 half. It is, as they say in the great province of Saskatchewan, it is a dog's breakfast. It's a real dog's breakfast. So how do we fix this? Well, the only thing that's going to fix this is time, right? The only thing that's going to fix this is time, because we need time to let things play out. And traders hate hearing that, and people will come in, they won't watch. The other thing too is they won't watch this session. They'll come in at about 3 or 4 hours and they'll go, JJ, what's going on? How come it's not moving? Right? I can't make any money. These trades aren't working, right? This is why. This is why you got to listen to me when I talk to you, right? Remember Hans and Franz from Saturday Night Live? Listen to me when I'm talking to you. All right, let's go take a look and see. I've got a 68.07 quarter to 12 balance. Double it to 68.21. Double it to the downside to 67.97 and 3/4. And would you just look at those candles? So, hey Raj, hey Stels, Juan. We've got the two Juans. East Coast Juan, West Coast Juan. What's up, Trade Maker? 8:30 a.m. red folder news. Okay. Thank you. What is the news? What's the 8:30 a.m. red folder news? Are they bringing back the McRib? McDonald's putting out an announcement? Just oh goodness. Oh, this morning at 8:30. Oh yeah, GDP, personal income, jobless claims. Oh, okay. Thank you, Trade Baker. I thought you meant 8:30 a.m. European time. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to ask this question. What do we do in the markets like this? How do I figure the balance? Oh, sure thing, Rocky. One sec. Okay, so what I did, balance, I have videos on this in our room, Rocky. What I do is I look for a, I go and I look, and I know this sounds weird, but I look for a low and a high. And when we look below that low, we go right back to that high. That's balance. Let me let me bring up another chart and I'll show you. We'll do one. Let me find. I've got another clean 1 minute chart here somewhere. Aha. Here we go. Okay. So while we have time, I'll show you guys how to do the balance zones. Yeah, I'm not going to trade this. This is pickpocket market. It's slow. So what we do, Rocky, you want to go and look for lows that match up and highs that match up. And I'll explain the business reason for this real right. When you see those, you'll see those two highs and then you'll look at these lows. And you want to see that back and forth like that. You see that? Does that make sense? That is when it's slow. Like right now, wholesale traders, what they do is they call running a box. Okay? So if I take those two highs, let's try that, right? I'll take those two highs and I'll take these two lows. Okay? And what wholesale traders, they will, underneath 68.10, they're a buyer. So what they're doing is they're buying, they'll buy 9, 8, 7, all the way down. They'll buy it all the way down. As soon as the market flips over 68.10, they're on the offer, which means they're on the ask. So they're selling 10, 11, 12, right, all the way up. So they're just working this area back and forth. This is great for them because the market just bounces around, right? So how do I know this? When I first started trading at the brokerage firm I traded at, there was this old trader from Florida. Grizzly old bastard. This guy had run every scam, done everything. He had traded size. He used to be a trader at Wien Securities and then at MH Meyerson. He came up to visit. A client sent him up to teach me. And I remember he goes, "Kid, what the hell are you doing?" He goes, "Put 1 million shares on the bid, 1 million shares on the offer, right? And let these idiots bang around between them." So that's what these guys are doing, and ladies, right? They're a seller here, right? They stop selling here. If they see big sell orders, they'll drop their price that they're willing to buy. Absorb those sell orders, and then this is the look below and fail. So what we're looking for, how this affects us, is if we want to trade this, right? We're waiting for the market to accept back over 6807 so we can go and buy, right? Let's see here and wait for the next candle to open. And if it stays over 7-8, we can go buy the eights, right? You buy the eights, you put your stop, say at 7 or 6 3/4, and then you put some sell orders out at 9, right? And see if you can catch a buyer. So I'm long 68.08 on a couple. I've got an order at 9.5. Guess what? They didn't take me at 9.5. I'll move that order down to 9.25, right? Because look, there's a seller here. Boom, I'm out one, right? Offered at 9.5 for the other one, right? Will they take me? Nope. If they don't take you, you can flatten. No problem. I'll get to the coin of bitterness in a second here. Now, that's not the greatest trade in the world, and you sure as hell are not going to buy a Gulfstream on that trade, right? Make a point and a quarter, right? Well, because you know that this balance zone is tight, and you know that they're going to flip to the offer at 10, so you want to front run it, and you know that they're selling here. So does that help you make sense? Two-sided markets, when you got a nice bigger balance zone like we had, right? You can make a couple of bucks here, you can make a couple of bucks there, right? And you can earn a living, right? The nice thing about this, Rocky, is if it doesn't work, you don't have to remortgage your house, right? The beautiful thing is buying the eights and your risk is 7, so it's not a huge risk deal, right? So you know where your playground is, and you know after we just talked about it being slow, you know that there might not be a lot of follow through. So you can manage your expectations and you can have some sort of sense of what the hell's actually going on instead of these guys going, oh, just take it when this EMA crosses this and the moon does this. And that's all great. But if you understand the business, business is slow. Are my trades going to work? Probably they'll kind of be kind of crap, right? So do I really want to commit capital, or do I want to go to the gym or go walk on the beach, right? Or go do something fun with your family, right? Or stop avoiding your boss and get back to work for those of you who are trading at work, right? You know, knowing when to take trades and knowing when to chill out and relax, that's the biggest thing. Because here's the thing, people who overtrade, when the good trade comes, right? When the really choice trade comes, you are so tired and worn out, right, from getting beat up over and over again in this market, you're going to miss it. That's why we stay loose, right? You just kind of stay loose, right? You're just really loose and chill. You know there's nothing to do here, right? There's no reason for you to be executing here, right? So let everybody else go and run around and get their head chopped off, right? You just chill out and wait, right? Like a sniper. That's how we make a living. That's how we manage risk, right? That's how we know not to trade this crap, right? While everybody else is running around like a chicken with their head cut off, right? You just chill out, have a coffee, read the Wall Street Journal, or, you know, whatever it is your preferred reading material, right? The Death Cross Triple Lindy Iron Condor trade. Exactly, Cisco. Hey, how's it going? Has anybody seen Dano? Where's my other Hawaiian? Must have him working triple shifts or something at the hospital. You guys haven't had any more floods there, have you? You got another storm coming? There's another look below and fail. Do I want to buy it? I know there's going to be a seller at 9, 9.5. Do I want to buy 8 and sell 9? Right? It's got to make sense, Rocky. Right? It has to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, right? What did Johnny Cochran say? If the glove don't fit, you must acquit. If the trade doesn't make sense, just keep your wallet in your pocket. You know? The trade has to go to you. Hey, listen, sir, here's your business opportunity and here's your risk. Right? And then you can make an intelligent decision. See, because if you had bought this at 8, it's kind of sucking wind right now. There's no follow through. Right? So you don't want to trade when there's no follow through. The other thing is, when you look at a chart and it looks like a barcode from a box of off a box of cornflakes, it's hard to catch these moves. There was a nice move here, but this crap, right? If you trade this crap, when this move happens, you're going to miss it. That's the problem. And that's how they get you, right? They get you because you're trading this crap, you get stopped out, you go long, you get stopped out. You go short, you get stopped out. By the time the good move happens, you've expended all of your capital and your mental energy here when this happens, and you're like, oh, crap. Right? That's why all these people tell you to be patient. But guess what? Human beings hate being told to be patient. Right? It's like when you have a girlfriend or a wife and you tell her to calm down. Wrong. Right? Right? It's not the best thing to say. Don't ever tell your wife or your girlfriend to calm down. Right? That does not end well. Right? Exactly. Right? That's like, telling your girlfriend to calm down. And let me go back to my Hawaiian, um, history. That's like pissing off Lano, the god of death. So don't tell people to be patient. Tell them to be smart and wait. Right? As soon as I came in and I saw this profile, I'm like, oh crap. Nobody really wants to play. So we do have news at 8:30, right? Yeah, but dear, you're a sucker for punishment though, man. That's why you have that dent on the side of your head. Right? Soon as you tell somebody to be patient, they'll pull the trigger on a trade. Happens every time. Right? Soon as you tell your wife to be patient, you get hit on the head with a rolling pin, if they still make those. Yeah, he does all the cooking at home, Moran. You're right. One day he'll have us all over for dinner. Ouch. It's a good thing she doesn't see the Discord, but here. Next time I do a one-on-one call with you, your head's gonna be in a bandage. Oh man, too funny. Oh, yeah. It's been a stressful week. Traders, take it easy, have a few laughs, relax, you know. Tomorrow's Friday. You want to be like government people in Vancouver. They only work on Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday a little bit. They're done. They never work on Mondays and Fridays. You kind of just chill out, relax. You know. Yeah. See that those barcode candles are the worst candles to try and trade. They just they just mess you up. So as soon as you see these tiny, tight profiles, if you're a market profile trader, if you come in and you see this on the daily and you see that tiny little range, you're like, oh, then you go and check your email and see, hey, did they raise margin rates overnight? No? No, okay. Then you look at that, oh my God, we got you got a gap that looks like the Grand Canyon sitting there. So, let's see if, just give it time. You got to give it time, right? This market right now, it's like we put the cake in the oven. Don't go reaching in the oven. The cake's not baked yet. Right? The only way to really trade this is to position trade this, right? You got to if you want to trade that way, right? What you got to do is you got to build a position here and then sell it into this strength. Hey, Liquid, how you doing? Right? So say if I bought 10 contracts between 8 and 9, I'm selling them here. I'm selling them at 10. I'm selling them at 11. I know VWAP is here. So when London opens in 15 seconds, I want to be out of that. Exactly, right? You want to be flat ahead of the London Open, right? I'd be out, right? So if I was long 10 contracts at 8, I'd be out here. If it goes higher, it can go higher without me, right? So like my old client Edzio would say, I bought it at 40 cents, I sold it at $1.20, it went to $3, it can go to $3 without me. It's really the only way you can trade these markets when they're slow like this. And this is exactly what I was talking about a couple of days ago when I was talking about how these markets switch up. One day they're like this, the next day they completely switch. I mean, yesterday we had a 175 point range. Today we've got a 20 point range, right? Completely different. So so the way you traded last night or yesterday, it's not going to be the same, right? And then 6 hours from now, it's going to change again. And then tonight, it's going to change again, right? So frustrating, right? It's very frustrating when you don't know what's going on. That's why I urge, and I'm talking to the people who don't watch the morning session and then ask me questions, right? You've got to watch these sessions so you know what's going on. That's why I do it at 7:30 in the morning UK time, 2:30 in the morning New York time. So when people wake up, they have a frame of reference because I've been watching the market for hours while people have been sleeping. Tight range, just relax. Right? The market's not going to pack up and go to another city and you'll never be able to trade again. It's not like the circus, right? Don't worry, this is a permanent circus. It never goes anywhere. And if you develop these habits really well, if you develop them now, it's going to really help you when we have 24-hour trading in equities. Excuse me. Sorry, folks. Apologies for the sneeze. Right? We're going to have 24-hour trading in equities soon. We already have it on some platforms like Hyperliquid and stuff like that. So what you want to do is you want to really be aware of concepts like inventory, right? I'm going to be jumping more into equities as time goes on to help people trade equities and invest. I do have something. I got sick last week, so my investment class got a bit delayed, but I'm going to have that out soon. And oh yeah, for people who are in my coaching class, I think I need another day. Um, just let me get rid of this cold, and if I'm okay later on, I'll do some sessions. I'll reach out to you guys. I'm still pretty stuffed up. Look above and fail of 12. So say you shorted 11, right? You want to go put some bids down here at 9. There's not a lot of meat on the bone, right? There's not a lot of meat on the bone. It's like, those corporate retreats, or, when they have a meeting at the office and it's catered. Somebody grabbed all the good shrimp already, right? There's not much here, right? They left that really crappy macaroni salad, so if you can catch it at the right time on the look above and fail and the look below and fail, that's okay. But till then, I would just chill. Hope that helps. Kind of boring. But after the last couple of days, boring is good. You know? Boring is okay. I don't mind boring. When did they start charging for Market Watch? Why are they charging for that? It used to be a free site forever. S&P 500 smashes back above two key moving averages. Let's see what happens. And back to 6807. So Rocky, do you see that back and forth? So the traders that bought 8, 7, 8, 9, they sold 10, 11, 12, and now they will wait for those sell orders and they'll start buying. It's the same thing, right? Market making is, you know, it's all automated now, right? Right? Everything's automated because algos don't need to be bailed out of jail at 3 in the morning like regular traders, right? You don't have to drag them out of the drunk tank. They don't complain. They don't need coffee breaks. And they're a hell of a lot faster, right? They can execute 300 trades in the time it takes a human trader to take one. So everything is so precise. So if you're looking for a long here, wait for the next candle. Let's see what happens. Right? If this candle stays above 7.25, give it some time because it's slow. You'll go long and you'll be selling 9s and 10s. Right? If it stalls, right, like it's doing here, if it stalls, you can see that there's a seller at 8. Plain as day. You can see there's a seller at 8. Right? There they are. Watch. See? If it stalls like that, just wait. Just wait. No rush. we are in distribution, right? We are in distribution of all of this stuff. Everything under 66, 61 is being sold up here, nice and gentle. Any questions? Oh, Bitcoin. Sorry, one sec. The coin of bitterness. Okay, so Bitcoin. Let me just get rid of this. So I came up with this balance zone a while ago on Bitcoin. It was it was from this time when we were doing this. What I think about Bitcoin is this. We had a massive, see, we had a position here. We took it up, put it on sale. It brought in buyers. It was a beautiful distribution, right? Look where we are. We're right back in that cost basis. A little higher because we haven't taken out this level here just underneath 50,000, right? So I was a buyer down here in the 75. I'm underwater in Bitcoin right here. I would really like Bitcoin to do a big flush down to this 40,000 level so I could buy a little bit more and put it away. Right now we're kind of in a holding pattern while the market waits for information. We've got tons of trapped longs in Bitcoin up here and they're slowly liquidating out. So this market needs time to clean itself out. Now, I don't day trade Bitcoin, and the reason is I like trading off a 1 minute chart. Go look at a 1 minute chart of Bitcoin. How in God's name are you going to trade that? Right? You got to go to a longer time frame, even a 5 minute chart. Ugh. Right? You don't get any clarity in this thing, right? Until you go to like a 30-minute chart. So a look below and fail of 70,000 to 71. It's and I'm not sure of the trading dynamics of it because I don't trade it. So what happens is when it liquidates like crazy, what I do is I buy a little bit and I put it away. And my Bitcoin position is the only long-term position I have, right? Because stock I get for free. I don't ever pay for stock, right? So people give me stock so I work on their deals. So I never pay for stock. That is a cardinal rule I will not break, right? If you ever find me writing a check to buy stock, it means I got rocks in my head, okay? Um, Bitcoin, it's an experiment, you know? Do we actually, do the 0 and 1 mafia actually make this thing work? Right now, it's a speculative asset and it's trading as such. I don't care what Michael Saylor says, right? You know, respect to that guy, but you could see, I mean, if you look at MSTR, it's in the pooper, right? You could see everyone's cost basis is down here at $20, and they sold the crap out of it. It's got, as John Kaiser, the very famous mining analyst, said, it's got that double triangle, right, which is the pump and dump, right? Some things you can't argue, no matter what you think if it's digital money or it's the future or whatever. I'm excited about the future, but this was a pump and dump, right? It's okay, right? On MSTR, that's fine, right? BMNR, same thing, right? These stocks need to clean up and establish a cost basis, right? CL, let's see what's going on. Right, let's see. Is Uncle Jed still a millionaire? Uncle Jed's still doing okay. Does everybody get the Uncle Jed reference? Right? There's gold in them there. Hills 47.49. I don't trade any of this stuff. I keep these levels for people. This Algorand, because Scaramucci was on our podcast, so I bought a little. That is in the pooper. All this stuff is just sweet. Everything that they said was going to be the future is all down. It's all risk. It's all risk assets, right? So when things go bad, assets get sold. It's as simple as that, right? So let's see. Bitcoin, it's going to take time, right? They had a hell of a party at 120,000. Now they got to clean up the hotel room, right? Speaking of hotel rooms, let's see what's going on in the old ES, right? Yeah, 6807. Let's go see if we can take out that overnight low. We're creeping on that overnight low. Let's see if we can take it out. What is it, 3/2? Right? Inventory is above us. Even though overnight inventory itself is short, you do have sellers. At nighttime, right? It's night, right? I mean, it's morning here for us here in the UK, but it's technically nighttime. And nighttime is when those traders who got caught short, and they are short under 6,800. So if we take out that overnight low, what's going to happen when we get down to that 67.99? How I know there are bids here, but how many bids are there, right? So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a break of the overnight low, right? I'm looking for a break of the overnight low and then to see the reaction at these levels here. And then, of course, 67.89 or 88 and 3/4, okay? So there are your lower stops. And then that big short positions under 67.80, that's from yesterday's Globex, right? If we break yesterday's low, we actually get into the gap, right? And God knows what's in that gap. Here's what I don't like. With the nature of, how do I say this, not to offend anybody, with the nature of the leadership these days, right? This whole move up could come back on us today or tomorrow. Know what I mean? It could all come apart like a cheap suit. That is my worry, right? I don't know what these people are going to do. So I have to trust the chart. And when in times like, it's funny how many people came to me over the last 2 weeks. I'm having trouble with my trades. I'm like, did you notice that there's a war going on? Oh, yeah. Right? Here we go. Let's test that overnight low. Right? They're like, JJ, why are my trades not working? I'm like, well, there kind of is a war going on. Oh, okay. Do I have to use bigger stops? It's like, no, you don't have to use bigger stops. You got to trade less. You got to size down, right? You got to use the old peanut a little bit. Don't worry, it'll all work itself out, but you have to stay on top of it. You got to be dialed in. Yesterday we did a class, an execution class. I should post it on YouTube. And it was amazing how many people were not dialed in, right? Do yourself a favor, my friends, right? Do yourself a favor. If you are not 100% dialed in, locked and loaded, do not put money at risk, right? If your head is not in the game, right? When I first started trading retail, I used to do this sort of systems check for my brain, right? And that's where I came up with taking small trades using the micro to see whether or not my brain was working, my reflexes were good, whether I was dialed in. How's my discipline, right? You pretend that you're the client and you're the trader, and the client is checking to see whether or not the trader is on the ball. I remember once I had these two clients out of New York. Great guys, man. These guys made me 30, 40, 50 grand a month easy every month like clockwork in commission. And when I first started with them, I couldn't trade my way out of a wet paper bag. So they had me call a market maker and give him an order. And they sat and watched how he traded that order. Did he screw with it? Or did he trade it clean? He traded it clean. So they were like, okay, you can keep using him. Right? Now, you guys don't know trading clean or trading dirty, right? Because if you give a market maker a sell order, some of them will automatically short the stock knowing that you're a seller. Right? You give them an order to sell 100,000 shares, all of a sudden the stock's moving down. Did we sell any? No, no, it's trading around me, right? That's what they used to do. That's why electronic trading is good, because you don't have people screwing with your markets as much, right? What they call bucketing your orders, right? Yeah. Be quick, Cisco. Be quick. 6,800 should have some bids. Should, with, those little quotation marks, right? I remember this. We had this one broker. Great guy. Ah, Ricky he was working a client order. He gave it to his traders. They started screwing with it. He got up off the desk, picked up a baseball bat, and walked into the trading room and threatened their trader not to quit screwing with the order. All of that stuff is now gone with electronic execution, right? People would, so once you've been doing this a while, you can kind of tell how things are going, even though it's electronic, right? You can see that the sellers, right? Everyone's trapped now above 6807, right? The offer moved from here to here to here to here. So that's why you get that trend line. That's what creates a trend line, right? Wouldn't it be nice to know why a trend line exists? It's because the offer is moving lower, right? Oops. Right? When the offer is moving lower, that's trend down, right? Now, I want to see what's lurking under 67.99. Market's trading almost like it's very hesitant if it was human. Of course it's not. It's just lack of order flow. There's not a lot of size that took us down under 6802. Look, very, very small contract size. Right? There's a little front running coming in now, right, off that 6800. That's why you're getting that green candle. Now you know there are going to be sellers here, right, at 6803 and change. And this is where you got to give it time. If you're looking for a long, right, you want to look below and fail of 97 and 3/4, that would be nice. Right? I wouldn't be looking for a short just here, just yet. You know, this is cost basis, this is 2 times discount, and I'll draw 4 times discount. Remember, this market, the move up is primarily built on short covering. That's why you have that big gap. So you got to be careful and trade in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Right? So if you're long 6,800, 6,800 and a half, there's going to be sellers here. There's the top of that candle, and if you see this little blue thing, there is a standard deviation. The standard deviations I don't have on the chart, but they are on the side here. And you'll notice that they will react there, right? In the old days, Dave, everybody just traded the offer, right? There is a merit to average lines and trend lines and stuff like that. Yes, algos will use them, right? Right? Yeah, see, in the old days, right? See, futures is a little different. In the old days, we would just watch the offer. Let me show you. So, in the old days, we would know, right? Like this is a penny stock, right? But in the old days, we would know that this guy at VFin here, he would be our seller, right? At 385. He was the one who represented the insiders, right? And all of these offers, right? For me, this is a deal I did. I call this Dean Martin because the promoter looked like Dean Martin, so I used to bug him about that all the time. You know, one of these Palm Springs dudes, right? So you'd watch that offer. If that offer lifts and moves up, then you know that the sell orders are done, right? Just so you know, this is all me. All these bids, all these offers are all me. So people who think they know an order book, this every single print is me. I control this whole thing, right? These are all my guys. They all have orders from me. Retail comes from Knight, Cantor Fitzgerald, Brook Street, Canaccord, M-Bay, Burt Martin Arnold, Wilson Davis, Finance 500, VFin, Citadel, Lafferty, Puma, Ascendiant. These are all my guys. Pershing, Puma, right? They're all my people. So every single bid and every single offer is me, right? I don't take on a stock unless I control every single share for the insiders, right? And that's how we're able to do things like this. If you look at this particular level 2, where is it here, right? If you look at this level 2, you'll see that there's 3 offers, right? That's my old buddy, the Nazi. May he rest in peace. He wasn't really a Nazi, but we loved bugging him with that nickname. That's Knight Securities, right, which was blew themselves up and bought by Virtue. CSTI is Canaccord, Mica is Spartan, Burt Martin Arnold, Lafferty, World Trade, Cantor, TRLN, Puma, Van Dam. Every single one of these offers is me. The bid is my lookout bid through Burt Martin Arnold, right at 49 bucks. If he gets hit, he'll call me and tell me, JJ, Knight hit me with 1,000 shares. Do I buy it or do I drop? I'll say just buy 100 and drop, right? And then if Knight sells 1,000 shares at 49 bucks, I will take that offer from ASCM and I'll move it down and I'll go 49 offer. And I'll force them to sell it to me cheaper, right? Order books are meant to be manipulated. The DOM is an order book. That's why traders who trade the DOM, it sounds really cool and it sounds like you really know what you're doing and it, you know, you might impress the girls, but very hard to trade the DOM because if you don't understand how order flow works and if you don't know how size is traded, you're going to be very, very upside down because you're going to think big buyers are buyers when they're actually sellers and you're going to think big sellers are sellers when they're actually buyers, right? So don't drink the Kool-Aid, just watch the chart. The chart will tell you everything, right? So we came down to 6,800. The offers lifted up to 6,805. And we're kind of going sideways. Really nothing to trade right now. Just kind of chill out. Relax. Enjoy this downtime. God knows what's going to happen later on today. Okay? Enjoy the time. Relax while you can. Okay? This is like a break in the storm. All right? All righty, my friends. Oh, yes. I want you to please come and join us at the Trading Syndicate. We got a 3-day. You can kind of do a look below and fail, do a 3-day thing. It's a free trial, right? And if you do sign up, it's only $19, right? Which is less than 2 Big Macs. And we will teach you how to make money. And we'll teach you how not to lose money, which is really the most important thing when you're retail trading. Because by the time you learn, you got no money left, right? So we stop that from happening, right? We stop that cycle. We teach you how to get paid. All right, my friends, have a wonderful morning. My coaching students, I'll let you know how things are going this afternoon. I still got to take it easy. The girlfriend saw me sneezing, so she kind of put a little hitch in my giddy up of doing one-on-ones. But we will see you later on. Have a wonderful morning, everyone. Please trade safe. Reach out and DM me if you need anything. I will be around. And, oh yeah, for traders who trade equities, I know I always show the ES, but yesterday I did a series on looking at a stock and showing people how to trade a stock or look at a stock in pre-market action. And I did it pretty much live. We'll be doing more of those. Let's see what pumps this morning, right? Because the pre-markets in the States will open up in half an hour. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.